Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now. But I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive.
You are too negative. Too negative. Too negative. I get behind the team. I get behind the team.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 49 today for the Austrian Grand Prix in Season 3. And once again, good old Chris has come in with the good stuff. The kind of half positive and then turns it into a negative there, saying that our development was pretty okay, but we need to step it up. And we're trying, Chris. We've got 3 upgrades coming next episode, which I'm very excited about there. And hopefully this episode we should do some more work to get some more points for some more upgrades. But to be fair to Chris, the data he did give us was quite interesting, because you can see by the development comparison chart now, Force India have continued to upgrade their car now and are now ahead of Williams. So not only did they jump us to the Monaco Grand Prix, now at the Austrian Grand Prix they've seemingly brought up another package. They also brought one apparently to Baku, which I didn't know about, and they've jumped Williams now. They've been improving since Canada, and it's just a straight upward streak there. So kind of annoying to see that, but hopefully we will be then matching them at the next episode. As I mentioned, we've got 3 upgrades, 1 major and 2 minors, and I'm not too sure how much that's going to equal on that graph, but I'm hoping that it's enough to maybe match Force India and overtake Williams at least. And well, if we're lucky, maybe just about by a pixel overtake Force India. But obviously in the end it won't matter too much to us on track, because I can try and drag the car up a little bit, as we have been trying our best since getting into the car. So as we move into qualifying then, onto our Q1 lap time, coming off the back of episode number 48, where it was basically a damage limitation race for us, as it always has been from the start of this game at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. If you haven't seen that episode, by the way, be sure to go check that one out before we continue to watch this one. But we did a decent job there, and we come to Austria, where we've had pretty mixed fortunes. Obviously season 1 was very great for us, getting a podium in the Toro Rosso, and then last season we got the strategy very wrong with a 2-stop, and most people ended up doing a 1-stop with rain coming right at the end of that race in season 2. So we actually didn't even score points, I don't think, if I remember correctly. We actually got beaten by Hulkenberg as well. So hopefully that is not the case this time around, and definitely in terms of our strategy that won't be the case. We are going to go for a 1-stop. We are going to qualify on the super soft tyres rather than the ultra softs, and basically try the same strategy we've tried a couple of times now this season, where we go on the second slowest tyre, or second fastest tyre, the middle tyre basically. Either way was correct, but we go on that middle tyre and try and qualify in that and try and get into the top 10, and we'll start on that tyre and they'll open us up to a 1-stop. So we come to the end of that flying lap at the end of Q2. It is going to be P8 then, and that will get us into the top 10. Unfortunately, Hulkenberg unable to get into the top 10. It was looking so promising in Q1. Our lap times were very equal, so I thought once again, like season 2 was the case, we were very close, me and Nico, that entire weekend in qualifying. But in season 3, seemingly not. I was able to extract a bit more extra out of the car in Q2. It was overcast conditions. You can see now compared to Q3, all sunny, so that may have changed things. Maybe I was performing a little bit better in the colder conditions, because for sure the Q3 time didn't actually end up feeling amazing, and actually my Q2 lap time ended up feeling a lot better. And in terms of the actual time in the end, I think even in terms of the time, it was better on the super softs, which was a little bit surprising. You can see going a little bit wide and wayward at the end of that lap, and we come across the line. It's only P10 for us, and I think that does end up actually being slower than our Q2 lap time. But everyone else really improved quite a bit, especially the top guys, obviously. I have the feeling the Ferrari and Mercedes guys have a little extra to just bump up in Q3. And Sebastian Vettel, for the second time now, gets pole position, although, of course, at Azerbaijan, he had a horrid Grand Prix. So for his sake, I hope he bucks up this time, because he still is in this championship fight, and he's trying to hunt down Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. I believe Bottas is the one leading the championship at the moment, just a couple of points there to Lewis Hamilton. And Raikkonen is still actually behind us in the Drivers' Championship, so Vettel technically should be the lead Ferrari guy at the moment, but it was Kimi that won last time out after a string of bad luck. But I think in the development race, I think Ferrari are significantly ahead now of Mercedes in terms of the actual raw performance of the car, if you look at the chart, if I was to show you guys in the menu. So really Ferrari's AI have just been doing a horrible job, bottled a lot of races this season. You guys have noticed that in the comments below. So yeah, let's see if they can hold it through at the home of the Red Bull guys. We haven't really mentioned the Red Bull guys. They're kind of in no man's land a little bit at this race. It looks like they have the pace over the Williams and Force India guys, but aren't quite there to maybe challenge the top guys. And Force India, of course, doing a good job to out-qualify me, so we'll have to try and see if we can rustle their feathers. Technically, their car is faster, so, if I can beat them, then that's a double good job for us, I guess. So let's look at the grid sequence then, and then we'll get into this race.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Perez, Massa, Ocon and Renault, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen and Stroll, Sainz, Kvyat, Fernando Alonso and Pascal Wehrlein. Ericsson and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So starting P10 on the set of Supersofts, we qualified in Q2, going to that one-stop strategy of using the soft tyres, avoiding the Ultrasofts altogether, filling up on fuel as per usual to use rich mix during the race. But we may actually hit some power issues because our MGU-H is a little bit worn. Using the second row column of components for this Grand Prix, the MGU-H was yellow and may tick over to orange in terms of the wear rate, so that may hamper us a little bit. And with us always starting down in P10, a little bit down on where I wanted us to be in this Grand Prix, not better the rest this time round. This may actually turn into a bit of a damage limitation race along with the last episode. So let's just see how we go then as we go to 5 red lights to the Austrian Grand Prix. Round number 9 of Season 3 is underway, and it is a bit of a poor start for us compared to the guys ahead of us. Felipe Massa making a good one, as well as Sergio Perez, and they go either side of Daniel Ricciardo. Gets squeezed out then to turn 1, 3 wide momentarily there. Ocon gets squeezed out on the left. We're up into rich mix already to slipstream the Williams car. Now the Red Bull, we go on the left of Daniel Ricciardo. Both myself and Massa have overtaken the Australian. We go side by side now as we climb up the hill to the end of Sector 1. Sergio Perez directly ahead of us, trying to see on the back of Max Verstappen. We just managed to get Felipe Massa on the exit then, and we're up the order into P7, I think this is. But as we go down the back straight, you can see the Brazilian in the slipstream trying to maybe re-overtake us, but we do successfully defend back to the racing line then through the swooping right-hander to keep P7. And now as we move into the beginning of lap 2 through turn 1, we're on the back of the Mexican Sergio Perez in the Force India as we climb up the hill. Rich mix at this point as well, and we're closing up now in the slipstream. So can we maybe make a bit of a dive bomb move down the inside? We'll try it. Nice and easy on the brakes, very, very easy. Down to first gear momentarily to really slow the car down as Perez goes a little bit wide. And now is he going to give us the room? Where is he going to give it? He's going to keep on the right hand side, so we go to the left. It's going to be close. He squeezes us so close to the grass there, and we'll have to go around the outside. Now this typically isn't the best place to be for this corner. It's very easy for the car on the inside to squeeze us out, but Perez unable to do that so far, and we do keep our nose in here. He's gone a little bit wide. We're so close on the right front tyre, and we're still neck and neck as we go to the heart of Sector 2, to the end of it. In fact, onto Sector 3, we do squeeze him out, and now he's got Felipe Massa for company, I believe, as we cut back to focus on them going down to this next right-hander. They're going side by side, Massa down the inside, and equally there you can see Daniel Ricciardo trying to make up the places on Esteban Ocon, so 4 of them in kind of tandem in pattern as they go through the last corner, and Hülkenberg trying to get a Toro Rosso there in the background. He's had a very poor start from P11 then, you must say, and Massa has got the Force India car, and now Perez is now being attacked by Ocon, and I think that was Ocon on the inside, tried to make it work, and for now Perez does keep ahead of his younger teammate. But here comes Ocon in the slipstream up the hill to the end of Sector 1. So just like real life then, the two Force Indias stuck together in a battle, and if you remember actually correctly at the Russian Grand Prix earlier this season, it was Ocon and Perez that made contact into turn 2, it was, with Ocon coming off with some front wing damage. So let's see if it happens again, as Ocon is now on the left hand side and he's trying the same move that I basically did. Let's see if he can pull it off this time, as Perez may basically do the same exact thing and not be able to hang it on the outside for this next left-hander, which is very tricky indeed as it is by yourself, let alone trying to go side by side. But no, look at that, he's actually managed it around the outside, and he's going to do this. He might pull this off, and Ocon's trying to squeeze him into the curbing there, and they're playing very feisty, and they're still neck and neck as they go to the end of the lap. This may be nearly an entire lap here of 2 AI cars going side by side, teammates of course, so maybe a little bit easier for them to do versus maybe 2 different cars, but 2 teammates still going side by side for 2 AI cars is very impressive indeed. And Ocon now is ahead of Perez finally, so that was a very hard fought overtake. But saying that, now as we go through turn 1, it looks like Perez may have a good enough run that he may just actually try and come back at him and re-overtake him. You also got the Red Bull Daniel Ricciardo, who is looking at the back of both of them. He did try to overtake Ocon previously and was unsuccessful there. Meanwhile, as we cut further on up the road, it's Sebastian Vettel that still leads the way then. So he's done a decent job from pole position to not bottle it like he did at Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But Kimi Raikkonen, saying that though, is in second place and is not looking too bad indeed. And looks like he actually may be closing on quite rapidly as he kind of leaves the Mercedes in third place for dust there, which I think maybe Valtteri Bottas with Lewis Hamilton in fourth place there. But just like at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the top two teams in the world of their own. And here comes Raikkonen, DRS. Ooh, had a little look into turn one, squirmed around in the braking zone, but thought better of it. But now the Finn will get a chance up the hill. No DRS up the hill, unfortunately for him, but pure slipstream and rich mix, I imagine, to the left-hand side. Vettel squeezes him towards the grass, but he's got it. And even before the braking begins, Kimi Raikkonen up into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. So Kimi looking good at the moment, and Vettel once again not looking amazing. But so far, at least he's not doing so poorly that he's falling back to the Mercedes cars. And actually, speaking of the Mercedes guys, you can see Verstappen, this is in P5, not too far off the back end of that fourth place Mercedes. So maybe Verstappen is looking to maybe overtake one of the Mercedes cars, and it's not the same for me, unfortunately. As we move on to our POV, onto that 4, you can see quite a gap there in front of us and behind us. I'm in no man's land at the moment. I'm trying my best to catch up to Verstappen, but it's just not working out. In reality, I'm probably having to look behind me as we move later into the race, and I am indeed looking behind me as Felipe Massa is trying his best to hustle me into the next brake zone as we enter sector 2. Then Massa right up the gearbox, but unable to get enough overspeed to shoot it down the inside like we have previously on Perez. So as we go down the back straight, then for now we'll stay ahead. He's got DRS wide open though to close up with that Williams straight line speed, and it looks like we've gone a little bit wide though. We're actually locked up on the right tire, and Massa is down the inside. We have gone wide enough, and Massa had to open up the door for him, and he goes round the outside. Then we have to tuck in. Then we've lost so much time, we have to tuck in, and we've lost the place unfortunately to Massa. Then through the next corner though, we do close up a little bit. So ironically, a car ahead of me, as I've mentioned before in this career mode, a car ahead of me kind of just helps me out a little bit in a way to go a little bit faster, because you kind of follow the line of the next car and just push that little bit extra. But it doesn't really matter because we move to the next lap, this is, and Massa is into the pits, and we continue on. Of course, he's on the ultra soft tyres, I am on a set of super softs. We're going a lot longer in this Grand Prix, you would imagine. Verstappen though is has continued on, along with, I think that is Valtteri Bottas. Yes, it is Valtteri Bottas then in this is P3. Lewis Hamilton is already pit as well, so I imagine probably on that same lap as Massa. And it's still Kimi Raikkonen leading the way from Sebastian Vettel, and then Bottas comes in on the next lap then from his ultra soft. So the two Mercedes guys going a little bit more aggressive than the rest of them, because the Ferraris and Max Verstappen are still carrying on their ultra softs. And this was the stage of the Grand Prix where the cogs started to turn a little bit in my mind that once again, like last episode, I may be getting screwed over here a little bit, and I'm getting surprised by the AI also trying one-stops but managing it on the softer tyres. It appears that it's seemingly the Ferrari guys at least, and maybe also Verstappen and the Red Bull guys, have been doing upgrades on their tyre wear potentially, because they're taking ultra softs very, very long indeed. They're going till, you know, lap 11, lap 12, when really I should be thinking about going that long at least minimum on the super soft tyres. So they're doing a fantastic job on these tyres. So you know, we've got one tyre wear upgrade coming for us next episode, and maybe we should think about going even more aggressive on the tyre wear upgrades, because if the top guys are doing that, that's pretty much not allowing us to pull off our kind of wily old fox one stop less strategies that have worked out quite well for us in the past to get ahead of them. Because if they're doing one stops as well, then that's pretty much equalising what I'm trying to do, and then I can't make up any positions. You can see now Raikkonen comes out ahead of Sebastian Vettel after he makes his pit stop, and Bottas not too far behind. And the two Ferrari cars, confirmation there, they're on the soft tyres, so they are trying the one stop, although Bottas is on a set of super soft tyres. So I imagine Lewis Hamilton is about the same, and so it looks like the two Mercedes are the only top guys, if you include the top 3 of the Red Bulls as well, trying a 2-stop this afternoon. I imagine Verstappen is also going to be going onto a set of soft tyres, but we move into lap 15 then, back to our POV finally. And you can see we're coming in now with boxes lap. But you can see on the right hand side, if you saw briefly as we cut onto this clip, the arrow on the right-hand side of the heads-up display was actually faded out to rich mix, and my rich mix has actually failed just before this pit stop here. So that's due to the wear on my MGH. My engineers told me I can't use rich mix. If I try to go to rich mix, it doesn't work. In the middle of this pit stop, though, however, it kind of comes back to us, because you're about to see we're able to set it up into rich mix momentarily as we come out the pit lane, but then it fails on us again. So intermittent issues while using the rich mix, and we've got, I think, about 0.7 or more of fuel left. So that's a little bit annoying, because effectively then it means we're just carrying around dead weight of fuel that we can't even use and get rid of, because my car's fuel efficient enough to not use any fuel in standing mixture too much. Really, it stays the same level. So yeah, we're basically carrying around dead weight, unfortunately. Hopefully the rich mix does come back to us eventually, and then we can burn that off and also just use it for performance, although the performance aspect is a little bit debatable. I don't know how the rich mix would perform with a worn MGH. You know, I've not really done any tests on that. But anyway, we come out behind Nico Hülkenberg and Lance Stroll then. They're both on soft tyres from the beginning of this race, I believe, so we really need to dispatch both of them as quickly as possible. Hopefully Nico is not going to put up too much of a fight. He is, of course, our teammate, so hopefully the team have told him, and by the next lap we're just going to go for a diving move, and indeed Hülkenberg doesn't put up too much of a fight. He does keep it on the left-hand side. The proximity arrow is still in red, so we do try and squeeze him out a little bit and basically scare him a little bit to braking early to this next left-hander, and that does work out for us, and so we are past him. I would have liked to have had it a little bit easier, to be honest, but fair enough from Nico there. He's racing as hard as possible and obviously doesn't want to give up the position and compromise his own race, so that's fair enough. But we do get past him then, and we close up to Lance Stroll. Bit of understeer in the next two right-handers, getting a bit of dirt here off the back of that Williams car. You can see having to lift off a bit and go a little bit wide through the final corner, but opening DRS then, you can see we do get rich mix back momentarily, and then again it fails. You can see there, I didn't even, that wasn't me tapping it manually back to standard. That was the game forcing it back to standard as it fails again on our car, and we have to wait till the corners to really catch up to Stroll, and the straight's just not possible. But through these next two left-handers, we really gain on Stroll. Of course, the Williams car may have the speed in a straight line, but its chassis and aero not too strong compared to our car. We've done plenty of updates now since the beginning of Season 2, and through the next right-hander this time we don't get understeer. We close up right to the gearbox of the Canadian into the final corner now, right up his chuff, open the DRS, and we move on to lap 19 this will be, and we'll make the move to the inside of turn 1, but we've not got quite the overspeed, so we have to go side by side into turn 1. He keeps it on the left, a little bit of squirm from ourselves on the exit of that corner, and Hülkenberg now comes through on the right hand side. We squeeze Lance to the left hand side, and that will allow Hülkenberg, and it opens up the door for him to go to the middle, and we're 3 wide momentarily. Lock up on the right tyre down to first gear. We go wide, and that will allow Nico Hülkenberg to actually send it down the inside of Lance Stroll, and so he'll go side by side to try and overtake him. So a bit of teamwork there from us Renault boys in yellow down to the next corner. Hülkenberg is going to try and brake as late as he can. He's going to have to squeeze Lance out to the left, and it looks like he'll just about get it. Lance Stroll tucking in behind, and he is up the order as we move to the next lap then. Yellow flags there, and it's Lewis Hamilton on the left hand side parked up. Once again, Hamilton finds himself to the side of the road in the grass there, like the Canadian Grand Prix, parks up the car after a failure with the car, and so Hamilton, from what started off as a brilliant season, this was 2 wins at the very start of this season, and leading the championship by some way after those 2 rounds, now skipping on to round 9, he is having such bad luck now. He's pretty much got the bad luck of Kimi Raikkonen. Speaking of Raikkonen, here goes Vettel down the inside of him to try and re-overtake him for the lead of this Grand Prix. Of course, Raikkonen did get the lead in stint 1, but Vettel trying to come back. He tried to squeeze him to the right, Kimi does, but Vettel has got it on the right-hand side, and he's got it. He's back up into first place of this Grand Prix, but oh, he's locked up. He's on the grass. Sebastian Vettel trying to go for the lead of this Grand Prix has actually ended up in P3 now. It's now Bottas in P2 and Raikkonen in P1. It's a Finn 1-2, and Bottas is the one now chasing after his fellow Finn on super soft tyres. Remember, he's on a 2-stop, so Bottas needs to get this overtake done and then basically waltz away for his strategy to work out this afternoon, and he's the sole Mercedes trying to take the fight to these 2 red cars, so he needs to make this work for his team. And now Kimi's locked up. Kimi's locked up. The 2 Ferraris are bottling this race, and Bottas is now into the lead of this Grand Prix. Unbelievable. And now Vettel on the right hand side tries to overtake. He has overtaken indeed. He's got back into P2 then, so he He's back ahead of Raikkonen, but now both Ferrari cars find themselves behind the Silver Arrow. So the two Ferraris, like they have done so many times so far this season, are bottling it well and truly at the Austrian Grand Prix. But as we move only a couple of laps later, the two Ferrari cars already right on the back of Valtteri Bottas once again. I mentioned at the start of this race, the Ferrari cars technically are actually some way ahead of Mercedes in the R&D chart. So you would imagine they should be able to do this, and they are definitely flexing their muscles. And Vettel is going to go for a very late move there down the inside. I really didn't think he was going to go for that, but he has done with DRS open and aid him down that main straight. And as we climb up the hill to the end of Sector 1, there's a McLaren in the way there that may cause an issue. I'm not too sure if they're going to catch him in fast enough, but Vettel goes down the inside of Bottas. Raikkonen tried to also maybe follow him through. He's going to try and squeeze out Bottas to the left-hand side. Vettel opens DRS down the straight. He gets squeezed to the right-hand side once again by the car to his left, but this time will he lock up? Let's see into the next corner. No, he does not, and he's still going to have to defend from Bottas, who is valiantly trying to keep this position. Of course, the longer he keeps the Ferraris at bay, the better for his strategy this afternoon, but you've got to say, with how close he is to these cars, I don't think his two-stop is going to work out. And there you go, Sebastian Vettel indeed does re-overtake him to get the lead back of this Grand Prix. So who would have thought it? After being on the grass and losing so much time there previously, he's back into the lead. Bottas then comes into the pits eventually, and it will be 1-2 for Scuderia Ferrari then, and all order is resumed. And so I guess Arriva Bene can sigh a big relief there, and that is the Red Bull of Max Verstappen in P4 then, and then this is us in P5 being chased down by the other Red Bull car of Daniel Ricciardo as we move on to lap 32 now. It's been a while since we've been on our POV, so honestly not too much has just happened for our race. We've just been going as best we can, but we've pretty much been alone for this entire race until lap 32, that is, because our engine is starting to get a bit worn. The MGUH, as I mentioned, is feeling a bit worn out, and we don't have rich mix available right now at the moment, and Ricciardo has been catching us up. We've got yellow flags as the Force India is sideways in that right-hander of Sergio Perez. So quite famously, just like we've seen previously in career mode episodes gone by, Sergio Perez having a few brake issues in that Force India car. So he's way down the order then. That's unfortunate because he was looking pretty damn strong with Esteban Ocon as we move to the next lap, lap 33. And you can see, although Ricciardo was catching us up the hill, as we look back behind us, we're actually able to out-traction Ricciardo. And I will point out, this entire time as we lock up to the next corner, if you look closely at our chassis, you'll see some rain streaking down and a few droplets on onto the black part of our chassis. As we go to the last lap of the Grand Prix, Perez off again, and he'll actually aid us a little bit because he's going to hold up Ricciardo here. But it's actually been raining. I haven't mentioned it. It's been raining very lightly like this since pretty much lap 17 the entire time. Very much like Season 2 at the Hungarian Grand Prix, if you remember, where I didn't actually realise it was raining in that episode. But this time round, during the race, I realised that, and that may probably be a reason why Vettel had a mistake earlier. But it's been pretty much a big reason why we've been able to keep ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, because although he has been catching us on the straights due to our worn MGUH and K, we've been out-tractioning him in pretty much every big important zone due to the slippery conditions. And so it will mean we come across the line for a pretty hard-fought P5, albeit in a bit of no man's land for most of that race, and so we didn't have to work too hard to keep that P5. Ricciardo, of course, was way back down the order behind both the Force Indias and the Williams at one point in this race, so that did help a lot, the fact he had to make up so much time and distance to catch back up to our rear end. But it is Sebastian Vettel then that will actually take the win at the Austrian Grand Prix from Kimi Raikkonen to Max Verstappen, who comes home in a very good third place there, although albeit handed to him a little bit by Valtteri Bottas trying a two-stop there. But yeah, fair play to Vettel after having that mistake, kept his head down and comes through for the win. And it does mean then, it actually means you can see, look at that, Vettel and Bottas level on points in the Drivers' Championship. So, you can't get any closer than that, obviously. And Hamilton not too far off there, but the top two equal on points. That is amazing to see as we come to halfway nearly at this season, next episode, obviously. And the constructors, as I said last time out, we're pretty much quite comfortably ahead of Red Bull. It's actually Force India maybe looking to challenge Red Bull. So all round, pretty decent Austrian Grand Prix for us. Hulkenberg a little bit way down the order, but as I mentioned earlier in the episode, obviously next episode we are having that major and two minor upgrades coming for us, so I'm very much looking forward to that one. Hopefully you guys are as well. But if you have enjoyed this episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.